The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
My name is Jasmine, and I am a recovering drug addict.
My name is Richie Farrell, aka the Old White Junkie.
And we are your hosts for Exit Team Nashua.
Our mission is to bring recovery into the living room.
Last year, over 72,000 Americans died of an accidental overdose.
That's almost 200 Americans every single day.
We will bring you guests with real-life experiences with addiction and recovery. Welcome to Exit Team Nashua. Hi, welcome to Exit Team Nashua. I'm Jasmine, and I am your host. Thank you for tuning in with us. We just shot a show with the beautiful Miss Claire. It was a really awesome show. I got really hyped up and fired up off it. So if you're looking for some inspiration, just go to YouTube and look for the Claire Show. That was really awesome. I've been doing this show for a couple years now, and this show has really granted me the privilege to connect with a lot of people and resources, and that has just been such a gift in itself. And I'm really grateful for this show and everything that it has done for me and done for others, but I'm really excited about tonight's show. I'm so excited to have Derek here. Oh my God. So when you get sober, for me, like the first year, it's just like about not picking up and like staying alive for me anyways, and like navigating through all that turmoil. But as I have been going in my own personal journey, I've been realizing that like the gift of my life is service work and connecting with others and helping others, and to be able to be there for others and watching the light come on in people's eyes and watching people get their lives back. And dude, I've watched Derek struggle for so long.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so cool that you're here tonight, because like that's not the case for you right now.
Yeah. You've from everybody through all the connections I've made in recovery, I would say you've seen me at the lowest of the low, and to be over here and like to be with you is a gift for me in itself too. It's cool, and I'm honored that you invited me over here. And yeah, you've seen me in the rough of the rough, so it's nice to be on the other side of it.
I've wanted to smack you sometimes.
Yeah, I was defiant.
Yeah.
And like what I just didn't know is I didn't know like the disease had a full grasp on me. Even after I put everything down, it was still calling the shots of my life.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and so like looking back on those experiences now, it just showed me that like this thing has been a mental thing from the jump, and it just like I didn't know that. Like I thought you put everything down and life on life's terms would solve my problems, you know, and like I'd go into those places and I'd put everything down, and then I'm stuck with myself and the disease, and like I didn't have a solution at the time, and the people around me suffered because of it.
Right. Which in return we suffer because our spirits truly don't want to hurt others.
Yeah.
You know? What I must say about you, though, through everything that I've seen you through, you're very resilient. You're very strong. But one thing about you, Derek, because I've always had love for you, you have a light to your soul, you know, and you have something about you that just like naturally attracts people to you. You know, and even when I saw you in like the worst of worst times, and like no matter how much of a brat you were being towards me, like
Yeah.
I had so much love for you,
Right.
because I could
You
still
and Sam.
see that, you know?
Yeah.
I could still see your light.
It was crazy. Like I was having this reflection yesterday, and I was like thinking in 2021, like how much love I'm surrounded by. And like I just couldn't believe it. Like I was just thinking like a goal of mine is to like hopefully show the love to people who have loved me unconditionally. Like I couldn't like express how much unconditional love that I've been shown, and like even when I wasn't on the journey of getting better, like it was still there for me. And like to look back at it now, like to think about the people that loved me at the worst, like my mom, my friends, my parents, you know, my family members, like you guys, when I would go in there and I wasn't unapproachable, like I wasn't like friendly, you know, and like even then, like people still had love for me, and like it's just crazy how much love this journey comes with. You know what I mean? And like through addiction, like I was seeking that, and like I got clean, and I found it. You know what I mean? And that's been like the coolest part about it. It's like I have so many different relationships with people that I never thought I'd have. And like the bonds that I have today, I was just thinking yesterday, I was literally like, dude, I owe so many people so much love, like to give out this year. And like, that's just one of the goals for me this year is to show the equal amount of love that I've been given, man. And it's crazy. Like I said, like growing up as a kid, I didn't feel love through addiction. I didn't feel love. And I thought I found love in drugs. And then like now on this side, like I know what real love is today, you know? And for a while, I settled for less. Like I thought it was love, you know what I mean? And it wasn't. It was like sick, toxic, like favors for one. You know what I mean? Just the difference today is just, if you asked me like 2 years ago what I thought about love and what I think about it today is completely different. You know what I mean? Like you find true love in like the halls of people who just want nothing but you, but success, you know? And,
Dude, that's so powerful.
yeah,
Are you kidding me?
uh,
Wow, dude, I have goosebumps.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I literally, it was crazy you brought that up because I was literally thinking about it yesterday. I'm like 2021, like, what is the goal for me recovery wise? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
obviously it's to hit the year. Like that's been a huge goal for me. I have never made it this far. And so now I'm like 8 months in, like I accomplished some of the goals that I wanted to when I was back at day one, right? And then it's like,
Yeah, because
what's
8
the
months
new?
is huge.
Yeah,
That's huge.
I know. I never thought I'd make it this far.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Today's 8 months sober for
Yeah,
you.
so
Yeah.
I never, man, like, I feel bad. Like, I went to a treatment center like 2 weeks ago and did a commitment, and I just feel bad for the people that are getting out and going through the COVID wave, you know what I mean? Because that was what it was for me when I got out. Like, we were limited access onto certain things, and like, it's definitely created a challenge mental health wise.
You're right. We definitely live in a different world today than what we did a year ago.
Yeah, like
It's crazy. When I got sober, I wasn't limited to connection with humans, and that's really what carried me through. I was surrounded by humans. I was placed in a sober living with such support, and we were, I'd go to all these meetings with people, and everything I did was about connection and being in the center of it, and we can't do that today.
yeah, no,
You
definitely
know?
not. Definitely not. Like, it questioned how bad I wanted this. You know,
Wow.
like when I got out, like it wasn't like the usual, like I could go to a meeting and blend in the crowd and do the bare minimal and I would be able to get by. And like it it wasn't like that. Like when I got out, I had the decision of like putting it all in and becoming successful, or I was just gonna, I don't like, I'd been through a lot through that point. Like, so it it had its challenges, but after I got through it, like, because I was limited, I went through a treatment center. We were exposed to COVID, and you couldn't leave. Everything was Zoom, like, so it like definitely made me realize like how willing I was to go, how much willingness I had at that time to really achieve what I wanted to at that point. And so after I got through that, like when I got out, like I had a deep breath, like, okay, I got through that, so I can get through the next month of this. So it's really just been putting one foot in front of the other, but it definitely has not been easy, and it was a difficult time, like the first 2 months, but like after a while, you're able to adjust to what works through that, and so I've kind of stuck to that. I mean, Zoom has had its challenges for me myself. I'm not like super focused on it. Like it's hard for me because I like the phone in my hand, but I've been able to like commit to Tuesdays and Sunday nights and like maintain my routine of like a men's meeting on Tuesday and Sunday night. It's cool because like a home group that I used to go to back in the day, I'm able to be a part of now because of Zoom. So it's had its perks with people that I had connections with and reconnected with because of Zoom.
What do you do like on a daily basis for yourself to help maintain your sobriety? What does that look like for you?
Like I was always taught a routine.
Yeah.
Right? And my routine is pivotal to me. Like I got to wake up and I have to make my bed and I got to pray.
Yeah.
And like if I get those two things done in the morning, my day is significantly different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I don't and I feel off, my day I suffer because of it. you know. So like my routine is making my bed, I pray. I've had so I've switched sponsorships throughout COVID, and so my sponsor we're in regular contact with. I try to get away with the texting, and like I like can't get it out during texting, you know what I mean? So I've definitely utilized picking up the phone, and so it's I talk to him a lot, and like at the beginning I was I definitely dived into work, and I became like the addiction came out in other phases, and
Yeah.
so I recently got laid off, and so I've really been able to pull back and recommit to my recovery and like what I'm doing. So go to
How
the
cool is
gym.
that? So something that could be perceived as something really bad, you can actually find the good in that because you're like working on yourself at a deeper level.
Yeah, so definitely now it's like I have the time to do the things that I wanted to do. And so like the gym has been a huge shift for me. Like it just even an hour there changes my whole mental state, and like
Yes.
the prayer life, and like pausing a lot during the day, it gets difficult for me. You know what I mean? It gets difficult, and it's brought me issues like,
Yes,
you
I
know,
do know
even
what you mean.
sobriety. Like sometimes I don't want to pause.
When I write that review at night and I'm like, ooh, should have paused there.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely
I
owe
got
amends for that.
Yeah, so my sponsor like hammers me about this spiritual toolkit app.
Yep.
So we use that, and like it'll set me up. It has prayers in the morning. It shows you the daily reflection, and so like I like to start off. I listen to a lot of Eric Thomas, a positive motivational
Yep.
speaker who's been through a lot in life, and I have to feed myself a lot of positive content. You know,
Yeah.
and like, and when I digest that, like my positivity increases, you know what I mean? And it takes a lot of work for me to maintain a positive mindset, because it's real easy. Like the disease now, like will access me in a negative mindset, you know what I mean? And so if I'm in that mindset, I'm not working towards getting better. And like I've been able to like, I would say now, like the difference is like I'm able to identify when the disease is coming out in me and how it accesses me.
That's
You
awesome.
know, because now it accesses me in different ways. Like for me, like I've adapted the mindset of like no matter what it happens to me today, I'm gonna get through it. And so once I adapted that mindset, I felt like it came at me in different ways, you know. And so I'm able to see it now in my behavior. And sometimes it gets ugly, and like I have to own my truth around the ugliness.
Yeah.
And like the truth is really what has set me free in addiction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like before I would like tell little lies and it would catch up to me. It would catch up to me long term. And I would wonder like, why can't I stay clean? Like why do I keep picking up? And like I was incapable of being honest at that point. Like whatever the case may be, it was like pride, and my pride would get in the way. And like I had built up the persona around me that like I was doing something I wasn't. And I was the one that suffered the consequences. So like early on, it was imperative to me that I had to tell the truth, you know? So the truth has a lot of power within itself.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
So where I'm at in my recovery and where I've been at for quite a while now is like I won't like bold-faced lie, but I will do so many things to avoid the truth within. You know, like there are like character defects or things that are going on with me that are so glaringly obvious to others. And they're like, Jasmine, you need to do this. But I'm so unwilling to accept it as my truth that I will try any other effing way to prove that I can like do this.
Right.
You know, yeah, I'm still pretty strong-willed. I hid a lot of pain around it still. You know, my disease still comes in all kinds of ways too. I love sitting here listening to him like, holy, this kid's getting recovered.
Yeah.
It's so amazing the insight that you have now.
My first year has been very painful.
Yeah.
And
How beautiful. We
I've
grow through that.
You know, I've gone through a lot of pain. Like,
Yeah.
and I get envious. Like when I hear when I'm on Zoom and people are like, "Yo, my first year was rainbows." It like hasn't been my story. I've gone through an insane amount of pain. I got out. My best friend died, and I had to go through that and witness his children. I had to walk through that. You know, my sister's going through her own health issues with a kidney transplant.
Yeah.
And like my family got COVID. My dad's on the older end.
Mhm.
Like I've suffered through a lot of pain internally, and most of it was self-inflicted through selfish decisions. You know what I mean? And that's been hard within itself, of just owning it and be like, that's my fault. Because me, like, left to my own devices, I want to play the victim in every role, you know, and I'll paint the picture where I'm a victim, and like that's
Yeah.
where the people around me are like, I've had it. I'm like sensitive, and like I don't want the cold, like the hearted truth to myself. But like that's been like, I always had old timers that would say that to me, and I was ignorant at that time. Like, you're wrong, you know. And like today, it's like the cold hearted truth is what I need. Like,
Mhm.
for me to live, I need to know the truth about myself.
Yeah, so I have a very direct approach with people. And so some people don't like that or think that I'm cold, but so the only thing that works with me, and the only way, if you come over and you're like, "Hey, Jazz,
Yeah,
like
the
maybe,"
softer way.
yeah, I'm like, "All right, let's go. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna spin it, I'm gonna do," and not without even being aware that that's what I'm doing, because that's how sick my mind is.
Right.
I'm not even in control of that thought process. I need someone to be like, "Sit down, shut up. This is what's happening." And I need someone to take a very honest and direct approach with me. And so, because that's what works with me, and that is what has worked for me all along, that's how I tend to be, and so sometimes I also have to remember that it's not what you say, it's how you say it, Jazz, and you could have said that a little bit differently.
Right.
you know
Yeah, I needed people like you in the beginning to tell me, yo, you need to go to treatment, and you
Yeah.
need further treatment.
Yo, you didn't even listen when you got there.
You need to go to further treatment, and you need
Yeah.
sober living.
Yes.
I needed that.
And I'm a product of long-term treatment.
Right.
And so some people are like, well, like the treatment industry is like just a sales market and not. And you know what? Like, I'm not even going to say that like some places aren't like that. However,
It's a business. And
all
it is
I
what
know
it
is that like I got sober through long-term treatment. All my friends got sober through long-term treatment. And anyone who I saw apply themselves to what they were being taught have really good lives now.
Right.
So there is no harm in going to long-term treatment.
Yeah, like I needed that, and
Mhm.
I needed people that were like weren't gonna tolerate me saying otherwise. You know what I mean? 'Cause
You have to remain true to the integrity. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? The integrity of treatment, of doing the next right thing. And that's what makes treatment work.
Yeah, no,
When you have people to uphold the integrity and hold you to that integrity, like I hold people to that integrity because I know they can do it. I'm not going to sell you short. I believe in you more.
right. And it's like when I was there, I needed people to tell me how it was.
Yeah.
Like when I was there, like I would kick and scream, and they would be like, "Okay, then leave, because there's somebody dying here that needs this bed." And I'd be like, "Oh well, now I want to stay." You know what I mean? Like when someone would hit me with the
Yeah.
truth and not code it to me, like I would be like, it would sting, but then I would like be like, I would realize that that's what I needed.
Mhm.
And for a long time, I wasn't like willing to hear what I needed. Like I thought I had it all figured out, you know. And then after so much pain, it's like you go through the same cycle so many times, you just wonder what's it going to take to break it,
Yeah.
you know. And so I'm definitely a firm believer in it too, myself.
Yeah.
Like people are like, they ask me, "What did you do?" And I'm like, I did what everyone else told me to do.
Yeah.
That was really all it was. Like
Yeah.
it was nothing. Like I didn't make any decisions for myself within the first 120 days.
Yeah. I mean, I still like, I don't want to say I don't make decisions for myself, because like I do, like I have the freedom and the ability to do that. But like the truth is like I still check in with people and I'm still held accountable, and like I submit inventory to people, and like I'm honest and raw and vulnerable with people, and I allow myself to be humbled and like receive corrective measures, and like I allow people to give me directive, and like by doing all of that, and to like by being moldable and shiftable, like the universe just has its way of kind of like flowing through you and getting you where you need to be.
Right.
Yeah,
it's always amazing how when you don't force it and you look back, it's like everything was laid out the way it was supposed to happen. And like the vulnerability piece of it as a male is especially difficult, because males, like, we love to display this dominant persona, and that I'm a man and this and that. But my truth is that I was insecure.
Yep.
And I had all sorts of issues, and that I wasn't, like, it took a lot for me to come out and say, this is what I think about myself. behind closed doors, like, but in a mirror, like, this is what I thought about myself. And like when I opened up about that, like through my first sponsorship, and we were able to sit down and like that's how we started to work on the insecurities. You know what I mean? Like the things that I thought about myself that weren't even true.
Yeah.
You know, and like the vulnerability piece, especially as a male, I can't speak for a female, but as a male, it's especially it's challenging for me even now, and I've been doing it for a little bit. It's still my guard wants to come up and be like, you shouldn't say that. You come this far, you shouldn't be thinking like that. Like, and I'm like, and that's when I'm like, I know that that's the disease today, you know, and so, man, I would go and I would watch videos of vulnerability, and I'd be like, I'd be dying to tell the truth, but I couldn't. Like I would literally, you ever had a moment where you're just like, I need to get this out, but I physically can't, it can't come out of my mouth. And like, it kept me stuck for a while. It really did.
I struggle with vulnerability still to this day. And like I'm still a work in progress,
Yeah.
I have such deep-rooted trauma, and I have like such deep-rooted issues, and like my truth is that like I was abused for a very long time, and then I carried that cycle over throughout, like when I became old enough to make decisions for myself, like I recreated that in my life over and over and over again. So like I really a lot of times like carry this like strong independent woman, don't need nobody, right? And like what is that? Like that's like really just me being like really guarded. I mean, like obviously like embracing my independence is a beautiful thing, but a lot of times it's just like really like a poor maladjusted coping mechanism for me to like not allow people in, because if I don't allow you in and I can take care of myself and like I have ultra independence, like I'm really just trying to protect myself because I'm really still just hurt inside. So, one thing that God has really been disclosing to me recently is like I got some inner child work to do, you know?
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people with multiple years.
Yeah.
And like the more layers you peel back. I know for me, like what I see through patterns is like I was so addicted to the chaos, and like I
Yeah.
came in like the first 3 months, I created that chaos around me, and I would suffer and suffer and suffer through these decisions. And then I'd get to this point of so much pain, I'm breaking down and I'm crying in sobriety, and I can't figure out why. And then we sit down and we talk about the decisions I'm making and the chaos I'm causing in my life, and it's like the pattern that I carried over. And like today, now I don't do that. I live more of a boring life, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm totally okay with the simple life. It's not
Yeah.
as painful, and I'm much happier on that end. But I could definitely identify with the patterns being carried over, and to think back now to the things that I was doing at 3 months of like just like insane amount of money being spent on things that I thought were gonna make me happy that never did. You know what I mean? And then like I don't have money to pay my bills because I'm trying to fix an outside problem with something internal. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to fix an internal
Money
problem.
does not
Yeah.
make you happy. It
Yeah.
just doesn't. And so for someone that didn't come from money, and like I grew up very poor and underprivileged, and I was bullied a lot because I did not have material things. My whole life I desired to have that, and then I got to a place where by no means am I rich, no means, you know what I mean, like, but like I don't have to stress about anything, and it's just like, oh wait, hold on. The only thing that really truly fills me with joy is following like that spiritual guide, and for me my purpose really is connection with others. I thrive off of being with other people. I thrive off of helping others. I thrive of like being in the trenches and helping someone and bonding with them over their brokenness. And I'm like, I got you, dude. Like I know that. Let's go. And there is no fulfillment like that. Like money does not do that for me. Like, do I want you to take my money from me? No, absolutely not.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like money does not set my soul on fire. It does not make me, I'm not any happier now than when I first got sober with money in my life. I don't know if I said that right, but I
Right.
think you got the point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the financial freedom today, and like I
Yeah.
don't, like it's amazing to me. Like I don't need to go into the store. I don't need to go to the outlets to be happy. I like gave back yesterday, and I like when I left there, I felt amazing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was like, wow, like I'm not being selfish, and that's a record for me. You know what I mean? Like, left to me, I want to be selfish. But yesterday I left there and I was like, wow, like, this is what makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I give back in a lot of different other ways. And no matter how you give back, man, you still get the same feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that we have like connected personally in quite some time now.
I haven't
like-
seen you since the summer when Jess celebrated, and that was
Yeah.
cool being there too. 'Cause
That was
I was
awesome.
I was at the bottom with her too. You know what I mean? And so I don't know, man. I'm surrounded by so many success stories now. I'm like, it took a village to get me to this point. Like, I have so many friends that, and like, I don't know, I couldn't say like without them I'd be nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it took a real village to get me here. I used to hear old timers say that to me, and I didn't understand, but now I understand. I understand, because it took a lot.
And now it's our job to like be a part of that village, and we still have our own trials and tribulations, you know, to navigate through. But like, I just really try and never forget where I came from, and like keep working with the sick and suffering for me, because like that was me. And what if there wasn't someone like me to help me out of that? You know, like, I owe it to God, to the universe. I owe it to keep helping those, because I know they're suffering and I know the way out.
Yeah, I just try to continue to do better, man. And like,
Yeah.
when I go out to commitments, I give out my number. And like, I was on one the other day, and I gave out my number, and like, some days like they call and some days they don't. And like, as long as I know I was there to do what someone did for me, like, I'm okay with that.
Yep.
You know, I'm blessed today, and I know what gratitude is, and like, there's like, I couldn't even name the amount of people that I'm grateful for today. You know what I mean? And it's been an amazing experience, and you always wonder what's next for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, what can I do better, and what do I want more for myself?
Mhm.
You know, and how can I help someone else today? And like, I didn't think like that for a long time. You know what I mean? It was all about me and about myself. But today, I'm able to put my family first, and people I love first, and people that need help first. You know, so yeah.
It's been an honor having you on the show.
Yeah, I'm really appreciative. It's been cool. This is really cool for me. This is probably the first time I've done something like this, to be really vocal about my story, but I owe it to my friends that have died and
Yeah.
that can't do this. And so I got to be the voice that carries the light for them. And that's really why I do stuff like this. So I'm not anonymous. Like, and I choose not to be.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I made that to my friend the day I went to his funeral. I said, I won't be anonymous for you, man. And so that's why I do things like this.
Dude,
So,
I appreciate you.
yeah.
Thank you for coming
No
on.
problem.
Yeah,
This is
to all of
cool.
you watching and that shared your time with us, thank you very much. For anyone suffering, for anyone that's loved one suffering, if you need any resources, please reach out to us on our Facebook page. I am a heroin addict. Just send us a message. We have a bunch of admins that oversee that. If you would like to get in contact with Derek, go ahead and send our Facebook page, I am a heroin addict, a message, and I will get you connected with Derek. And if you have not done so already, please hop over to our Facebook page, I am a heroin addict, and give it a like. Until next time, love you.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.